wow, what a testimony.
My daughter is about 2 years old. I come in one day and I'm high as a kite. Daddy, your eyes look weird. That was the rock bottom. You can't fool a 2-year-old, man. Game over. Stood up and I just blurted out, I was molested as a kid. Dude, I felt 7 feet tall for the first time.
Buckle up. This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB.
Shawn Vinson.
Shawn Vinson with a
It's
V.
Vinson.
With a V.
So I heard it wrong.
We get that all the time. It's
Wow.
Vinson. It's not even Vincent.
Oh, it's Vinson.
Yeah.
Son.
Vinson.
Okay.
But-
Shawn Vinson.
Yeah.
Wow. So I heard it wrong and wrote it down wrong.
It's okay. I'm here.
I'm so glad you're here. And we've had a short discussion on the phone. You obviously, I've got this super secret booking agent that I think some of my audience knows sends me some great conversations. And sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I need to at least know what we're going to talk about. And then other times I'm like, I just know they're all going to be good. Like there's nobody I have to vet. I think he vets the relationships for me.
Probably does.
And
yeah.
so it really helps. I've had some incredible conversations this year and some even last season that he sent me. And at this point, he's definitely sent me a number of conversations this year. But we had a chance to get on the phone. What you don't know is I was at my daughter's district tennis championships in Fort Walton Beach, and she was in the middle of playing. There was a break where they changed lines, and you called, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have a short conversation. However, your story was so compelling to me that I looked at my wife, and she was like, look, you got to get back in this match. And I needed to get back to the match, but I was like so enthralled with your story. So if it felt like I was cutting you off.
Yeah, it didn't. You were good. Yeah.
That's not what happened. Because I was like, wow, what a testimony. What a testimony. And all I got to tell my audience is if you obviously found this page, and if you're a regular, thank you. But if you are just dialing in because you saw the thumbnail or the trailer reel or whatever it was, it said, I want to dive into this. Look, buckle up. I think it's going to be interesting. I heard it for probably like 7 to 10 minutes. And it was enthralled. I was engaged. But then I also was at my daughter's tennis match, and she was playing an opponent that she had lost to in the season.
How did it end?
She ended up winning, so she got revenge back.
Worth cutting me off.
So it was great. She ended up winning in a tiebreaker, third set tiebreaker. And so it was a tough match, and she pulled it out and went to the finals and really finished up her season. It was a great. She ended up not winning after that, but she to make it to where she made it into the regions and districts and regions and all that, it was really just great turnout, and
awesome.
Super proud of her as a dad for sure. Which
beautiful.
Do you have kids?
I have one little girl. She's 10.
10.
10.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer. I'm 50.
Okay,
and
so
I
we're
have
the same
one
age.
child. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
one child, but you definitely went late. I'm going to be empty nested. That daughter I'm talking about is graduating high school this year, and she's my last one.
Yeah.
So it was our last sports watching, our last of the senior year, and it was just like, okay, I need to stay focused, and it was an incredible match I'll remember forever. But I want to dive though into your story. So you're from Midwest, right?
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Is where we're from, and we moved here to Destin, Florida, about 5 years ago, through COVID. Moved us here, yeah.
Okay. And when you were out in Missouri, though, you were telling me your family, your dad started a business. Thank you so much for following this channel. I really appreciate you listening to this conversation today. I hope it blesses you. I really work hard to bring on people that I think their story can add something and benefit your life, or maybe the lives around them. Maybe you can live with fewer regrets. So, but what I will tell you is you will regret not subscribing to this show. Every time you get a subscriber, it is a free way to support the content we're putting out there, and it means the absolute world to me. So please hit that subscribe button now.
Yeah.
And he got some success early on in business.
Yeah. He's really got an amazing story, and it's kind of come full circle. But my dad was, he was the opposite of me. He had kids at a young age, and 3 kids by the time he was probably 21, and trying to figure things out, and he grew up dirt poor in West Virginia, and he was raised by his grandmother, no plumbing. They had an outhouse, the whole story. And when his family came back to visit him, so he wasn't abandoned. Mm-hmm. The parents had 2 children, 2 young ones when he was born, and they said, Grandma, Mama, said, let me help take care of the baby. You guys go on. And so they'd come back from Ohio and visit, and he never went back home with Mom and Dad, and he never understood why. And they never got closure on the exact details, which is sad, but it led my dad to want more from an early age, because he would see his younger brothers and sisters, because they had additional kids, come back and they'd have clean clothes. They pull up in a nice car, and they look clean, and he was, dirty, hand-me-downs, and the opposite. They were playing basketball with the milk crate.
Right.
And so he always had the drive. He said, he's later said, I want to make it. I want to get out of this. And so he always had that drive, and so he always found a sales position. And he just kept working his way slowly up and up and up. And he ended up taking a job in Ohio, back in Ohio, years later as he got older and met my mom. And he took a phone sales job so that he could use the phone to call long distance, to call back to Mama.
Come on, that's so good.
So he made less money there.
Phone sales, but explain for the younger audience what a phone sales job would be.
Or what long distance is.
Or what long distance is. Yeah.
Yes. So for those of you watching, long distance was a charge to call a outside of your local area, and it was very expensive, and a lot of people didn't make those calls because of that. So, but anyways, I share that part to show like how close he was with Mama. She was his rock. And so he would always come back and visit, and as we were born, we'd always go back home to West Virginia to visit Mama. And so sales jobs turned into sales jobs. He was selling furniture, kind of doing everything, and he took a sales position in St. Louis, Missouri. Once he got out there, a friend of his had started a mortgage company in the late 1980s. And this was just his drinking buddy, really, just a regular guy. And he said, Ray, I want you to open a mortgage company for me. Okay. And he's like, I'm selling furniture. I don't know anything about banking.
Yeah.
My bank account's, insufficient every other month. Like I'm the last person.
Right.
He said, it's super easy. I'll train you. You can sell anything. And so he did. So he trained them, and they opened an office together in St. Louis, and my dad trusted his friend and put the lease in his name, and they had a copier. And here's another one for you youngsters: a fax machine. They had to buy a fax machine, and they started this business, and it took off.
So now mortgage is different than, it's banking. You're working with banks, but you're basically taking in all the information of what someone's credit history and job history, and you're putting it into the format that they would really need to be presented to an underwriter. Yeah, essentially.
Correct. And they were a broker.
100%. Yeah. Right. And so really you're a salesperson to a degree.
Correct.
Still in the, you just need to be good with numbers and the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my dad starts this company with him, and things just take off. Things are going well. They open a second office, and it's all under his friend's business name. Okay. But everything is on my dad's name on contracts and everything else. Okay. And long story short, the other gentleman had a gambling problem. Oh, wow. Went to Vegas too many times and literally gambled the business away.
Wow.
So what my dad went from making very little money, struggle, to what would be equivalent today to, let's say, $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
From West Virginia?
Correct.
Come on. Yeah.
It was life-changing.
Outhouse to 300?
Yeah. He went and bought a new car and custom built a home and had lots of debt. And so overnight, the income was gone.
But when you say he gambled it away, he just, the profits from the company and everything he might have owed or whatever, it was just, he put it all.
He would get markers or whatever, loans from the casinos, and it was gone. Wow. It was gone. And
in the 80s?
About 1990, around 1990. Okay. And so my dad was really upset, obviously.
You'd have been going into high school then.
Let's see, yeah, I went right into high school.
So we're the same age, so I'm tracking.
Yeah, 90 to 94, baby.
I was 95.
Okay, so long story short, he gets really upset, loses everything, forecloses, goes back to West Virginia, and he's crying to Mamaw, like, it's just not fair. Like, I finally did it. I always wanted that, and I had it. And she said, son, it's okay. Just come over here and pray with me. And he'd say, okay, get down and pray for a minute.
Check out my people over there at True North Pest Control, truenorthpest.com. They are in Central Florida. They're in the Emerald Coast and all over the state of Georgia. I love these people to death, but the thing I love about them is their follow-up. They do such a great job of making sure they're on time, making sure they're doing a good job, and then following up with you to see if you have any concerns and questions. They'll take care of any bug or pest control problem you have, and if they can't, and it's some sort of alligator or something, they'll help you find the right folks. True North Pest Control, that's truenorthpest.com. Floors.com is my one-stop shop for all your remodeling and flooring needs. Floors.com have designers standing by, and they can walk through your project. They can go through dimensions, help you size it out, and help you pick what matches, what doesn't match. If you send them, they'll send you samples. They'll do whatever it is that you need. They ship all over the continental U.S. I just had lunch with the owner the other day who told me they shipped an order to Australia one time. So Floors.com, that's FLOORZZ.com.
All right, I'm done praying. I want to go back to being mad. And she'd say, son, we're going to pray some more. And they prayed and they prayed and they prayed to the point where he's like, Mamaw, enough, okay? Like, can I just be mad? Mm-hmm. She said, I'll give you one day to be mad, and then we're going back to prayer.
Oh, wow.
So he was mad the next day. They do some more prayers, and she starts talking to him and says, so I don't understand. You did this for someone else, right? Why can't you go do it for yourself? He said, you don't understand. I lost all my credit. I had everything on credit. She said, you're right. I don't understand. Can you pay cash? He said, Mamaw, I have less than $0.
Right.
Do you not understand that? Well, how much would it cost? You need to know. Could you go do it again if you had the money? He said, of course I could. So they prayed, and they prayed for how much it's going to cost. $600, $1,000 here, $1,200 here. And it totaled around $7,000. Now,
to start a new business.
To start the new business, just the basics. Get
paper,
get a lease,
computer,
a copier, paper,
fax machine,
2 phones, and start rolling. Because he did it, and so they prayed a lot more. I'll just spare all the prayer, lots of prayer, and he's back in that mobile home with no plumbing, and he woke up to $7,000 cash.
How?
She had it.
She had it,
and nobody knew she had $5.
Wow.
And he woke up and he's like, what
do you
is
think
this?
she was looking for like faithfulness in him? She was looking for something in him that said
that he really wanted.
That you really wanted.
Mm-hmm. And to show like.
Now, when you said he prayed, during the day, it was not like he prayed 24 hours a day, right? So
no,
he didn't go to prayer marathons, but he was definitely praying with her, praying it out, going through scripture, I'm sure. Was he helping to take care of, like, doing any odds and ends of jobs and stuff like that?
I don't know. I really don't know that part of the story, but if I skim over it, but I know Mamaw, you guys don't, and she made him pray. I'll say that.
Yeah.
She was a tough cookie.
Where were you at the time when all this was going on?
So I'm living with my mom. My parents were separated. They had just gotten separated, shortly before that.
Okay.
So anyway, so he goes back home and he does it. He starts this little mortgage company with 2 phones, just enough to pay 2 months' rent, and he got started. And he started a company called American Equity Mortgage.
Okay.
And American Equity Mortgage started in St. Louis, Missouri in 1991. And fast forward in 10 years, they had 42 branches in 36 states. It just
it's quite a success story.
Took off. It literally took off. And but he had that drive, like I'm not going to let happen what happened to me before, and I've always wanted to go get it, and I'm going to go get it.
Did you, how was your relationship with your dad at that time?
At the time, my dad was, look, now that I'm an adult, an old adult, I can look back and understand more. He was trying to fulfill his issues, right? His abandonment and success or lack of money growing up issues. So he provided, but he wasn't there a lot. It was business.
Did you feel that in a relationship?
Yeah. So I always wanted Dad's approval and attention. Yeah. So it was kind of the trend was happening in a different way, the abandonment.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there but not there.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with your mother?
It was okay. You know, I struggled in school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had what they call ADHD now. You know, again, for you youngsters,
just
we
active.
didn't know what that was.
You're
Yeah.
just a boy.
I was just a boy who couldn't get good
Couldn't
grades.
sit still.
Yes.
Always acting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just always looking, you know, couldn't sit still. You know, my mom would say, "Can you just sit still?" And I would try so hard to sit still, and it was hard. But it's okay, right? But so as time goes on, my dad just starts doing very, very well. He had married my former stepmom, and they built that business together. I still give her all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
They were the perfect team.
Yeah.
The yin and yang. You know, he could sell anything, and she was a CPA who made sure the money stayed in the house.
Oh, wow.
And they built the machine. It was really cool to see. And the shift from the great success story starts to happen when they were about to sell the company for $100 million to a company called Countrywide. You might remember
I know
Countrywide. Well, Countrywide had caught wind that there was some divorce rumblings between the two
pair of them.
owners,
Okay.
my stepmom, and so they kind of cut that deal.
Okay.
And unfortunately,
When was that? What time frame?
this was about 2004-ish, something
right
like
before
that.
the crash of
Yes.
08, 09.
Yeah, it was around 2003, 2004, something like that. And, you know, so they both had this overwhelming amount of success, and they had this huge company, 700 or 800 employees, something like that.
Wow.
And they took care of their people. Everyone was doing very well. It was a big family unit. It was an amazing time, and I got to work there.
So yeah,
It was
because at
great.
this point you're out of school. Did you go to college out of Missouri? Or
I
did you-
didn't.
So you went into the business pretty much.
I went into, yes, I tried a couple odd jobs first, and then my friends were like, "You're kind of..."
Yeah. Why are you not? You got
What?
the.
Yeah.
You've got the goose that laid the
Yeah.
golden egg. Why are you not just going in there
But again,
and figuring out how to work
I was that kid where I was like, "Yeah, but I got to wear a suit and tie every day," and they're like,
in an office?
"Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
And to be trapped in an office. So, anyways, I ended up going, and my first job, this is kind of cool, something my dad did. He said, well, first of all, I had to convince him to give me a shot because he told me no the first time. And so I started, and he said, "I'm going to start you as data entry in the marketing department," which is pretty much one of the lowest entry positions. And on day one, I show up, and he pulls me into his office. And
Could have made you pray every day, by the way.
Correct. Yeah. And he said, "So I'm gonna tell you something. You're the owner's son. No one's gonna like you.
Yeah.
They're all gonna be looking at you and watching your every move. So I need you to come in early every day and stay late every day, past your schedule hours." And I thought, man, what did I sign up for? You know, because I'm only 21, 22.
First in, last out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad he did that. At the time, I was like, man, this guy, you know, I couldn't wrap my head around it. But he was right. There were people, you know, it was a big company. I was definitely looked down on by a lot of people. And but again, I was just in a minor role, so I didn't really affect anyone. But then I start seeing the loan officers who get paid on commission pulling in new Corvettes and BMWs, and I'm like, what do those guys do?
Yeah.
You know, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't even know what the job is. I'm like, I want that though, kind of like he did.
Yeah. I see
Right?
success.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't want to gravitate to that.
Yeah. And so I started talking to those guys, and I would sit in their office for the appointments, and I'd be like, I think I can figure this out. And so I did. 100% commission. You know, if I didn't do anything, I didn't make any money, and that was another thing I'm grateful that I learned on. And so I did that job for about 3.5 years.
Is that an independent contractor at that point when you're 100% commission? So it's all like, what, 1099?
1099.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
And so you did that job. Did 08 hit that market? The 08 hit like every mortgage company out there. I had
It
friends
did.
that were in the mortgage business.
Yeah.
I have one friend of mine in college that really was one of the bigger mortgage brokers out on the West Coast. He might have worked at Countrywide for all I know. But he was well known in his territory and area, and made inroads in, you know, real estate agents are your best friends,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in that business. And so, which we've got like 3,000 of them here on this island.
Yeah.
So they all know that.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I remember when the 08 crash hit, they just it was one day it was hot, and then it wasn't like a slow roll. It was next day is over.
Yeah.
And he became a professional poker player for a few years
yeah.
until it came back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, so I'll wrap up their divorce. So they went through a real nasty divorce that took years and lots of money, and it was embarrassing how much they both wasted on suing each other.
No.
It was in the newspapers for 2 years. It was embarrassing. So I went through that, and then I'll start touching more on me. So during that time, I was drinking alcohol quite a bit, but it wasn't a major issue, just kind of blending in with my party friends, and everything was fine, and did that for many, many years. And then, but when that divorce started happening, I went through a lot personally, because when I say it was the divorce alone, there could be a movie about it. It was, there was a murder for hire, allegedly. I have to say allegedly, because it wasn't proven against my dad.
Really?
People were following us. They were paid to follow us everywhere we went.
So this guy, did it never make it? It never made it like Dateline or 48 Hours?
No, it could be a book very easily or a movie very easily.
So you felt like people were following you too?
They were. I thought he was crazy at first. I said,
really?
Yeah. And so it got so bad that he ended up just moving to Vegas, because he's like, there's cameras everywhere. I feel safe in Vegas.
Oh,
so he went to Vegas.
Interesting.
Not a big gambler, but he just like,
but they just
I want
cameras
to feel
everywhere.
Protected.
Was the business still operating then?
That was the battle. They were fighting over the business.
Who's going to business.
And here's why. Oh, this is important detail.
Yeah.
So remember, he went through bankruptcy.
Was that with the 08?
When his friend...
Oh, no,
from his friend,
okay, early.
Because everything was in his name. So he foreclosed, had bad credit. His girlfriend at the time,
your dad's girlfriend,
my stepmom, he put everything in her name 15 years before. And they never changed it back.
Wow. So he's battling to get some of this business back.
Yeah. And she's battling like, this is mine. Here's the document. And that was the battle, that sheet of paper.
Wow.
And it was a big battle.
Wow.
Again, it's like a movie.
And it still came through in 2008, right?
Well, before that.
So this is happening before the crash,
4,
really.
5, 6, somewhere around there. Because
they realized they were going to be fighting over
for so long.
Into the worst market the mortgage people had ever seen.
So they're fighting for this big company, and it's slowly... Because it got affected when that union.
100%. You're not watching when you're fighting. You're not watching your business.
Correct, and they were the yin and yang that made it special. And when they separated, it wasn't the same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did what do you think happened in the relationship? Was it infidelity?
Infidelity on my father's part.
Oh, no.
For sure.
Yeah.
So she hired a private investigator. It's
like no hate. Then a woman scorned or something like that, or whatever. So she went out on it.
She went out. So she had hired a private investigator. Add this to the movie clip, okay? Yeah. She hired a private investigator, and he went after my dad. And so that guy had so much disdain for my father. I can't even tell you the hundreds of things that happened. There are just so many silly things. Like he got custom license plates that said By Ray, B-Y-E-R-A-Y, my dad's name. By Ray, and he's now married to my ex-stepmom.
Oh wow! So he went all in,
and then joined the money, and I mean, it is literally insanity. But that went on for like 4 years, and it was tumultuous. So it led me to more drinking,
you were
and
dealing
drugs,
with people following you, businesses declining.
Yep.
And so then you're kind of spiraling.
Correct, because I was really close with my stepmom for a while there too, and I was trying to be on both sides.
Oh wow!
And then it got to the point where it's like, I got to stick with my dad.
So were you seen as the... Did you side on it, or did she ever take, like, you have to either not talk to him or be with me? Or
Well, in the beginning, I was siding with her because of just the details I'd heard. I'm like, I was feeling for her, and I felt bad, so I'd go over, and they lived right down the street. And then... But then when it got crazy, and I'm like, okay, wait, this is not just about us. You're bringing other people in.
Oh, yeah.
The private investigator, and then they were bringing in security guards into our office. It was, and all the employees were like, what is going on? This is a divorce that needs to happen.
But you're leaving people. People are leaving the company.
People are leaving.
If they're independent contractors, I can go. I can do mortgage. I can do it
anywhere.
I've got relationships with realtors. Yeah. I can go and work at someone else's brokerage.
Yeah. So a lot of chaos going on, but definitely my drinking increased around that time because I was embarrassed by a lot of it. It was everywhere. Yeah. It felt like it was everywhere. So
that was numbing something, you think, then?
Yeah.
Kind of numbing it. Was your dad you finally did he have any resentment? I mean, with you having this relationship with the stepmom, was that there? Or he still?
No, he knew I was, because I was trying to help him too, and I was trying to help her, and then he was telling me, Shawn, this is bigger than you think. Like, I'm just telling you, you can't talk to her. And I was like, I'm a grown adult. I'm here for both of you. And then after a while, I'm like, I see what you're talking about now. There was a bigger play. They were about the business, not the emotions. So in my opinion, and I don't have any evidence, but I think she was like a year ahead into this, like planning with this private investigator.
Okay, so
because of the attack mode that came on.
She was ready.
Plotting and planning this.
She was ready.
And caught him off guard.
So whatever happened?
She ended up getting awarded the business, and he got, a percentage of the cash and houses and plenty of money.
Okay.
And he came out okay. But with the whole fight, we thought we were getting the mortgage company, because everyone in town and all these cities knew it was my dad's, other than that piece of paper. And again, not to take away, because she's a very smart business person, and she definitely helped build that. But so at the end, he said, I'm kind of shocked. I don't know what to do. Like, now we have cash available. Like, what do you want to do?
Okay.
And I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay.
I didn't go to college. All I know is mortgages. I said, you know what, Dad? We should open another mortgage company, because she tried dragging your name through the mud. Call it Ray Vinson Mortgage and neon lights, and open across the street from her. And he said, son, have you learned nothing over these last 4 years? That would just fuel that again.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want anything to do with mortgages. I said, okay. So for about 2 weeks, I'm no idea what I want to do.
Okay.
I just loved cars, and I said, I think I want to start buying and selling Ferraris and Lamborghinis, like every 25-year-old with no experience, right? And he said, have you ever sold one or bought one?
Yeah.
I said, no. He said, then go get a job buying and selling them first.
Yeah. Okay.
I said, okay, so scratch that idea.
Yeah.
But I did like the mortgage company. I hated the way it went down. I wanted to kind of bring back the legacy, and there was a lot of people that were still my dad's fans, and a lot of people that were on my stepmom's side. Sure. And so I said, all the people that quit would come work for you in a heartbeat. They liked you. They left because it got crazy. And he's like, I mean, if that's what you want to do and you want to run it, I'll back you.
Okay. So you started another mortgage.
So I started Vinson Mortgage, our last name.
Okay.
And this was in 2005.
Okay.
2005.
Yeah. Wow.
So then 2005 to 2006, we got ramped up and we're rolling, and guess what we did? We opened 7 offices.
Yeah, sure.
Right before the crash.
Yeah.
So put a lot of money in, and we opened in Vegas, Phoenix, Miami, 2 in Florida, like all the markets that got hit the hardest. We just got clobbered. Yeah. And so that's how we got affected by the crash.
Yeah. Did that business continue going on? Did you make it through it or no?
We did make it through.
So you made it through
because we had cash reserves.
Downsized, righted the ship.
Yep.
And then made it through?
Yeah, lost money for a couple of years.
What about the other business?
She definitely suffered, and her business is now closed.
Okay.
Our mortgage company closed in 2018.
2018.
Vinson Mortgage.
Okay.
Yeah, and I played a role in that myself.
Because what's interesting is you're starting a business, but you're also starting a drug and drinking problem at the same time. Yeah. So which what I know about starting businesses, and I've been involved in several, and they can be stressful.
Very. And that's how I coped.
Yeah, but you can't deal with the pain sometimes when you're numbing it, right?
Yeah.
You can't deal with the problems sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. So how long were you able to keep it under control and wraps? Well, your drug habits.
Yeah, so it kind of blended in, and I was able to function, be a functioning alcoholic and addict for a while, for years.
Did you use the term addict? Did you know you were an addict? I mean,
I did at one point.
Did you?
Probably the last 3 to 4 years is when I really admitted to myself that it was a major problem.
What made you admit it to yourself?
I couldn't stop.
So you tried?
Many times. Many times.
What's that like? Just trying and not being able to.
It is, now I understand it because of the education of a 12-step program. Mm-hmm. But when you're in it, you can't see it. Mm-hmm. So It's a delusion. It's a big delusion and denial. You will convince yourself that it's not that bad and it's okay. And friends will cut you off because of how you're acting or your actions, and you'll say, oh, they're a jerk. It's very easy to blame everyone else and take zero accountability. And I got really good at that, unfortunately, and lost a lot of good people in my life. But it's hard when it's like, how do I use this example? Like, let's say on Friday or Saturday, we go out, drink a lot, do some drugs, and you feel like crap on Sunday. And on Monday, you're like, I'm not doing that again. And then on Tuesday, you start feeling better. Wednesday, you're all right. And on Thursday, someone calls you, and you're like, yeah, let's go have a beer. I'm just going to go for a beer. And for me, it was never just one beer.
Right.
It never happened.
Right.
And that's the delusion where the back of my brain knows if I can tell myself one beer, then I can go out and I'll end up getting the drug. And that's the insanity of it.
So you weren't every day drinking and drugs at that point, or were you? Did it get to that point?
I was for about the last 5 years.
So you were able to keep it in control, but it would spiral out for 2 or 3 days.
Yes, correct.
And then you would pull it back together Monday.
Yep.
And it would by Thursday you
Yeah.
Would you have any shame of guilt? I know that's a cycle that addiction talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll feel bad, have regret.
Yes.
I wish I hadn't done that.
Yes. Because a lot of my actions were not truly me. Mm-hmm. But I had done it so long that I thought that was truly me. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that to that person. Or the next day I'd get a text or look at the text like, oh, I don't remember saying that to you. I'm sorry. Apologizing for things you don't remember, but you believe them over yourself. That was common. But really it was, the girlfriends I was dating at the time, I got dumped by just about every girl. I just was not a good boyfriend, very selfish, and drug addict, The drugs ruled everything, dictated where we went, what we did.
Why did it dictate where you went?
I wouldn't go somewhere. If I knew the drugs were on this part of town, we could go do something over there because I'd have the drug dealer meet me over here. But if it was the opposite part of town, no, let's go. I'd steer everyone over. Like, I was in control of so much. And at the time, I'm making pretty good money too. So it's kind of like I was party central.
Hang out with me. I'm buying some drinks for you.
I was always that guy. Yeah. And people were like, they're taking advantage of you. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I didn't mind because I had to get the drug.
You're fueling what you needed.
Yeah. And that was in control of me. Yeah.
When you're buying drugs, what is that like, though? Going to a drug deal, because I always envision these drug dealing houses. Yeah, like trap houses in Atlanta. And you're having to go to somebody that you're in a backseaty alleyway, and you don't know if he's got a knife or a gun or 5 homies in the back or something. Right.
Well, you end up.
Is that how? Am I describing this well or no?
No, I mean those are there, but I mean there's in very, very nice neighborhoods, drug dealers
really
operating out of $2 million house.
So you're just walking up to the door and exchanging some cash and getting your drugs.
Usually hang out. So I became friends with these guys.
Okay.
And because I was visiting them pretty often,
right. And
then it got to the point, towards the end of my addiction, I was married. I'm still married. We'll get into that, but I couldn't go home, so I'd stay there longer, to the point where the drug dealer would be like, "Hey, you gotta go, man. You've been here a couple hours, like."
Couldn't go home. Why couldn't you go home? Because you didn't want to do drugs at home.
Yeah, I mean, I would always do drugs at home, but I knew I would go there and get in trouble for doing drugs, and there would be a fight. So I'm avoiding the fight with the wife when I walk in the door.
Okay, so you're still married to the same woman?
Yeah.
And so so there's a story to unpack there.
Yeah.
So are you married doing drugs? When did y'all get married?
I'm supposed to know this date. 2000. Let's see.
I should have prepped you for this.
Yes, I needed my notes. 2000. Our daughter was 2, so 2017.
Okay.
Is that right?
You got married in 17?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're fast forwarding. You're growing the business back because mortgages start coming back in the tens.
Yep. We're doing well.
You're growing it back. Mm-hmm. You're doing well.
Yep.
You're dating this girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
Was she doing any drugs?
No.
And when she saw, what was your drug of choice, by the way?
Cocaine.
Wow. Okay. Which is now like fentanyl city. You don't know what you're getting now,
Yeah.
right? You probably got out the right time.
I got, I had a situation with that, though.
Did you? So you're doing, when she saw you do it, how did she, like, she would see you do it, or she just know it?
So here's kind of that story. So I met my wife. There, right across the street from our office was a restaurant that we would always go to for lunch, me and my buddy.
Okay.
And she was waiting tables there, and she went by with a tray of food, and I asked the bartender. Of course, we're sitting at the bar for lunch, right? And I said, "Who's that girl?" And she's like, "She's not your type, man. She's sweet. She's really kind. She went all these great qualities." And I go, "What do you mean she's not my type?" She goes, "That has not been your type." And I said, "Well, I think maybe those girls may have been that, but I brought out their bad characteristics, you know." And so I was really intrigued, and so I kept trying to like ask her out, but I was very shy and intimidated, which I normally wasn't at this time, and wasn't afraid of anything, but I was nervous. And I think because I heard all these really great qualities about her. And finally, after attempting to ask her out 5 times, she didn't know they were attempts because I was so nervous. And so finally I said, "Hey, I've tried asking you out like a handful of times, and your no's are so kind and nice, they don't feel like no's, but I don't want to be that guy that doesn't get it. Is it a hard no?" And she's like, "You were asking me out?"
Oh, wow.
She goes, "Well, you always say, hey, you want to go out tonight? You know, like, you want to hang out tonight."
Right.
And she's like, "So that answer is always no. I work full time. I go to school full time. You know, on Thursdays, you've asked me out on Thursdays a few times if I want to hang out on Thursdays. And on Thursdays, I take my grandparents and their friends to the casino." And I'm like, "Who? You sound like this great hard
Angel.
work." Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, so maybe any day of any week of any year in our lifetime, would you be free for a couple hours?"
Is there a chance?
And she kind of laughed and she said, "We'll figure it out." And I was like, "Yes." And so we ended up going out. She's a lot younger than me. She's 15 years younger than me.
Okay.
So at this time, I'm 38, 39 years old. I meet her. She had just graduated college. Very mature for her age, and I'm very immature for my age. So we kind of linked up nicely.
Connected well.
Yeah. And in St. Louis, they had just opened this area called Ballpark Village down by the stadium, which was a hot spot. So her and her friends would go there because it was a hot spot, and my friends would go there, and we'd blend right in. So they're celebrating because they just graduated college with drinks, right?
Okay.
They're in their drinking phase, and I blended right in with that.
Sure.
And so we would go out, hang out, have some drinks. I'd take her home, drop her off, and I would continue going out alone for hours and hours and hours till the next morning.
Wow.
And she didn't know that. So in the beginning, she's like, "This guy's great. He's not needy. He's not following up."
You were able to keep it under wraps.
I hid it for a while, and she's busy. She has this very busy schedule. She's not worried about this new guy she went on a date with. So I took full advantage of that, you know, and it got to a point where she said something, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Why would she? What gave her that clue? Have you ever explored that with her later? Like, what gave her that clue? Because there's a significant amount of trust I think women put in us men, and in relationships, and then that trust gets like violated. When you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's a very non-judgmental person in general.
Sure.
And so she's like, "Are you guys smoking weed over there or something?" She's like, "I don't care.
Right.
Just don't lie to me."
Right.
And so I was like, "Well, yeah, we're not doing weed, but something else." And she's like, "Whatever." She just didn't investigate further.
Okay.
So I'm like, "Oh, she's cool with it."
Yeah.
Again, my delusion wants me to think that. And finally, she saw me do it. You know, walked in on me doing it at a house and freaked out. You know, it was like,
wow.
I did not sign up for, like, what is this? You know.
Yeah.
She's like, just kind of backed off a little bit. And at this point, we're dating a couple months. And then we have a conversation, and I lie to her and say, "Yeah, I don't do that often. You know, no big deal." So I'm like, I really have to hide it from her now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I doubled down on my lies to this new girl I'm dating who's an angel.
Yeah.
And everybody that meets her is like, "Man, you are way out of your league with her," you know.
Right.
Everyone, I'm like, I've got it. Everyone's told me that.
If she knows the real me, she'll
leave.
She'll go. So I've got to
keep this up. And so Fast forward a few months later, we're hanging out a lot more. We're seriously dating. We're boyfriend, girlfriend at this point. We're about 5 months dating. And she doesn't call me for about 2 days. And I'm like, something's wrong. This is where I get dumped. I know this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, hey, we need to meet up and have a conversation. I'm like, yep, I'm getting dumped.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a conversation. And she's talking about life and the world and the future. And I'm like, this does not sound like a breakup. And I'm so confused. And I have this confused look on my face. And I said, I got to ask you, are you dumping me? She's like, no, Shawn, I'm pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And so there was about a half a second of shock. And then I just smiled real big. Because I love kids. I've always wanted that. But I just knew I wasn't right or ready.
Right.
And so I smiled real big, and then she just kind of fell into my arms crying when she saw me smile. So those 2 days that she was avoiding me, she had recently found out I'm a drug addict.
Mm-hmm. And she recently found out she's pregnant.
She's pregnant, and what's this guy going to say? You know, he's acting crazy right now.
Did that jolt you at all?
It did.
So do you believe your daughter was a catalyst to your sobriety?
Yes, but not at that moment.
Not straight away.
So I did stop everything right about then. I'm like, this is great. I'll stop everything. I can stop on my own, no problem. And so what I did is I called a friend who owned a treatment center. And at this point, the money is starting to like get really tight. You know, business is starting to slowly fail, but I'm in denial on that. And I just can't afford a treatment center. And so I call a friend of mine, and he says, just come in. I said, but you don't understand, I don't have any money. He said, just come in. And David Becker, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he gave me a free treatment.
Really?
And gave me, $30,000 treatment for free.
What do you mean a free treatment? It's a rehab facility?
Rehab facility.
What year was that?
So this is around 2000... Geez, I don't know, 16?
16, so you went into rehab around then?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So got a daughter being born, and I'm like, new life.
Okay.
And so I used...
What a friend, though.
It was a great friend.
Why did you think he did that for you?
Well, my dad had helped him out in the past with something.
He wanted to return it.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
And he remembered that, and he's just that kind of guy. Big heart, he's had a lot of legal troubles, did a lot of bad things in his past. But
what's going on with the business now? With all this going on now, you're going to rehab.
Yeah, well, so it was an outpatient, so I could go to work during the day, in the evening, go to these meetings, and and handle all that. And I wanted to do that to not let anyone in the office know, and try to carry this facade that
everything's fine,
in denial that clearly half the business probably knows I'm a mess.
Right.
And so, but at the time, I was so used to just having access to, our company was making a lot of money, and I paid myself a little salary, but I had access to a company card, and I just put everything on that like it was free money. And it really distorted the value of a dollar to me.
Sure.
Sure. And so at the time, I had a very large home, I had a boat, I had multiple cars, everything, motorcycles, all the toys and everything you could ever want. And 90% of all of it was financed to the hilt.
Right.
And house of cards, man.
Just came crashing finally.
Came crashing down.
You couldn't keep it together.
Couldn't keep it together.
Were people leaving the company too? Just the ones that saw like this guy's a train wreck?
Yeah.
And like you said, you were delusional. I think that a lot of times
delusional.
when you really get in that spiral world and rehab, more people than you realize know, right? Like you said.
Correct.
And yet, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going downhill. The business is crashing.
Mm-hmm.
You got a baby on the way. You're in rehab.
Yeah.
And she's still sticking with you.
And she's staying with me. Mm-hmm. And she's amazing. And there's 2 times I'll cry. This will be one. But my daughter did eventually save me. So I went to the rehab, got a little better, but I didn't continue doing 12-step work like AA or NA or anything like that. I'm good now. Mm-hmm. And she has the baby's born, and guess what? I start getting the itch a little bit, like, maybe we should have a party to celebrate the baby. Mm. But the back of my mind was, we're going to have a party.
Because that's how every party you brought in had party favors.
And it was, they still make fun of me because to show you, I lost the value of $1. My baby shower had ice sculptures, and it was like something. It was everything was over the top because I wanted a party. So it was like Party Central at our house was like the hub house all the time, and so I wanted to bring that back. I missed that, and I'm like, I'll just have beer. I can't have one beer, but I didn't know that at the time, and so that one beer led to beer, shots, and then drugs, and that was the time. Now, mind you, I've been doing drugs for almost 20 years at this point, and some of my closest friends who were right there with me, partying with me, doing drugs with me, when I said I'm going to start doing it again,
they're like, dude. So even the drug
addicts are like, dude, I don't think it's a good idea. And I remember that clearly, like locking eyes, and I'm like, really?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Tell me no.
Yeah, but I'm glad I have those memories to remember now. I need those. So if we go back into this chaos of life, and the house of cards is collapsing more, so it's more stressful, and I'm trying to act like everything's fine on social media. I'm totally living a lie. And my daughter, I'm thinking again, I still think I have everyone fooled. And my daughter is about 2 years old, and I come in one day, and I'm high as a kite. My eyes are bugging out of my head from the drugs. And I pick her up, and she kind of leans her head back and says, "Daddy, your eyes look weird." She couldn't say her R's yet, and that's when I usually cry right there.
She saw it.
She saw it, and it was the frying pan to the face in the cartoon, man. It was you're fooling no one. You can't fool a 2-year-old, man. It is crazy. Over. Game over.
Yeah.
And it was that moment.
So that was rock bottom?
That was the rock bottom.
What did you do then to get better?
I called a guy named Jeff, who has like 23 years sobriety.
Okay.
I said, I need help. I need lots of help.
Finally reached out.
Yeah, and I said it the right way. Like, I need help.
That was the realization you needed, was looking at your daughter and saying,
yeah,
this is what she's going to grow. She's going to grow up seeing me this way.
Yeah.
Or she's going to see me a whole person.
Yeah. Well, you don't even say, well, I didn't have the logic to go, well, I could go this way.
You didn't say the road.
This 2-year-old just saw what I avoid in the mirror every day. Wow. A 2-year-old.
Yeah.
She knew something was off. Now, she doesn't remember this, right?
Right.
I've told her this story 100 times, and she knows, and she tells people, I helped save my dad's life. I want her knowing.
That's so, by the way, that's so transparent. To think about where your life was and no transparency.
Yeah.
Hiding everything, not saying, being the full you.
Yeah.
Living in the shadow world. And then now today you're like,
I'll tell it
open
all.
And there.
Yeah.
So you hit rock bottom. Did you go to another rehab, or did you go to like just more AA meetings, or?
Well, I kept avoiding going to another treatment center, and my wife was like, "You've admitted there's a problem. Now why are you like? Now would be the time you should go." And I said, It's been hard to process, but I've realized why I'm not telling you I'll go to another treatment center is I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go for 30 days, and you're going to feel good for 30 days. I'm going to come home. I'm going to relapse. We're going to start all over again, and you're going to leave. You're going to leave no matter what, so you might as well leave now. She was like, wow, she didn't know what to say. So a couple days goes by, and I'm scrolling Facebook, and then there's this advertisement for this men's boot camp where they kind of kick the snot out of you for a week. And I'm like, maybe that's what I need, because I'm such a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Rehab's light and fluffy, at least the one I went to.
Right.
I need something.
Push-ups, sit-ups, eating dirt, sleeping on a cot sort of thing, yeah.
And so I think this is going to make her very happy, and I show her this video. I said, this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to do this. And I remember this is one of those things that really just hit my heart. She goes, like, zero hope.
No,
and I'm like, wow.
She saw that's not what you're like.
Yeah,
what do those guys know about?
They're not going to
conquering addiction habits. Yeah.
Here you are avoiding reality again.
Right.
So, of course, what every drug addict or alcoholic does, I go on a 3-day bender and then fly out and go to this boot camp, which I don't recommend.
You did it.
And I did it, and I detoxed through the whole thing, which is very unhealthy.
I could only imagine.
I don't want to get into details, but your body goes through a lot, and it was brutal. And so this event was called immersion, where you immerse yourself. I think you only sleep 3 or 4 hours a night, and it's lots of workout, but also classroom structure and educating. And it's all about
breaking you down to be emotionally available.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable.
And that is what I needed. And so I was the only guy there for drugs and alcohol. Everyone else were like business owners who want to level up, and I show up looking like a wet bag.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember thinking, okay, I'm in a room full of successful guys. Maybe I shouldn't have signed up for this thing. And so we're 5 minutes into this event, and Coach Nate Bailey yells, "All right, everyone out of your seats and get in the plank position." I'm like, I don't even know what a plank is. I look around, and they're planking. I'm like, okay, how long are we going to do this? And my arms are shaking. It's been like 10 seconds. And he just starts yelling at everybody like a drill sergeant. You know, he's like, "You're here because you said on your application you cheated on your wife." You know, this one guy, and you know, did she deserve that? And he's like, no. He's like, no, sir. I'm like, and my arms are shaking. I'm like, what did I sign up for? Oh my gosh. And so out of nowhere, he just calls me out. "Shawn, did you tell everyone here that you snorted your daughter's college fund up your nose?"
Wow.
And I was thinking 30 seconds ago, I was planning on not telling these guys I have a drug problem.
Wow.
I was going to hide. And it just exposed me.
Okay.
And I said, no. And he said, "No, sir." And I said, "No, sir." And it was hard for me to say no, sir, because I didn't like authority.
So it sounds like that had some positive influence into the vulnerability world.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, though, and this is an AA thing, but or NA or SA or any of the AAs, everywhere you go, therefore I am. So you leave that place.
Yeah.
You come home. What do you do to keep it going?
Well, so what that really did for me, those 4 days, a lot got uncovered. Okay. So on day 3, I come into the room from a bathroom break, and everyone's already sitting down, and I start hyperventilating. And I'm like, what's happening to me? Okay. You know? And I'm like, can't catch my breath. I'm like, what on earth? And so I walk out of the room. And they're like, "You okay?" And I just put my hand up because I couldn't even talk. And so I'm like, get out in the hall. I'm like, what the heck was that? And I calm down in the hall. Go back in the room. As soon as I go in and they all kind of see who's coming in the room, I start doing it again. And I start bawling. And I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to stop it. I'm trying to shove these feelings down. And they kept coming up. And I stood up and I just blurted out, "I was molested as a kid."
Wow. No way.
And it all made sense. Like everything fast forwarded in 5 seconds. This is why I've been shy growing up. This is why I used alcohol and drugs to be someone else. This is why I buried the pain and all the feelings my entire life.
Which is very interesting, because you can go through years of counseling before you uncover that, or months of counseling.
But I went 20 years not thinking about it. It was like it never happened.
Day 3 on this boot camp.
And it was literally coming out of my body. And so when people say they have a spiritual experience, I feel like for me that was very overwhelming spiritual experience for me, to see that happen to my body.
Did that particular event, and I'm not going to press you hard on it because I know that
I'm open
a deep
book.
wound, but how old were you?
Like 6, 7 years old.
Did you just forget about it?
Well, I buried it.
Okay.
And so there would be times where it would
think about it,
and I'm like, that's
get that out.
Yeah,
we're not going
and it was another young child, so it wasn't an adult.
Okay.
But it always made me wonder about that child, and then that child grew up, and I knew his history, and then I carried this guilt and shame that I never said anything because I think it continued to happen to that adult or to that child.
So you think he might have been abused or something?
I definitely no. I shouldn't say that.
But it's likely.
There's no way that kid
how does a kid even learn?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I knew his lifestyle at home.
So it's not like a predator, but a predator in
the trickle down effect. Yeah, and so, but I didn't know how to process it, you know, and so.
Wow.
So because of that holy crap, I just said the most vulnerable thing a man could ever say out loud to a room full of guys I just met 3 days ago. But dude, I felt 7 feet tall. I'm only about 5'7".
There's something lifted.
5'7.5" if I wear the right shoes. But I felt 7 feet tall and invincible for the first time. And it was unbelievable.
What was the response of the guys in the boot
They were
camp?
like, oh my gosh, come here. And I was like, I don't need anybody now. I mean, I just felt that way. But I was able to process that for the last day and a half. And then also what really got uncovered in that 4-day event was, you know what? I used to say treatment centers and AA doesn't work. How do I know? I never gave them a fair shot. I'm going to go home and do AA. It's free, right? Or it costs $1 a day to put in the basket.
Coffee and donuts.
I can afford that.
Yeah.
You know, because house cards financially is collapsing. I can afford that, and I'm going to go do it. And so I went home, and I still gave it 50%.
Really?
But I did really good. Like, my life turned around, and my wife was very happy, but I still didn't go 100% in. And then I did have a relapse, a small one, but I knew, okay, that
What does small one mean?
meaning like just a week or two, and it was like, okay.
How'd you pull it back together?
My wife was like, I'm gone.
Okay, so
Yeah, like
so she finally put the ultimatum.
Yeah.
She finally said this. Did she leave?
She was leaving. I was coming in the house, and
She was
she was walking out carrying the baby. She said, I'm going to my grandma's, which is about 2 hours away or hour and a half away.
Okay.
I said, oh, great. When you coming back?
Never.
And she's like, I'm not. And it was like, there's another frying pan. And I'm like, so at least that time I had enough clear-mindedness to know that was a fork. Shawn, you can go and lose her, the baby, and everything else, or you can go back to what's been working. And,
Well, what's the catalyst then? That was the catalyst, but then what did you do? How'd you work to sobriety?
So when I reached out to that guy, Jeff, and said I needed help, that's when I reached out to Jeff and said I needed help.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
So you tried to do everything on your own.
On my own. That's
until
right.
you
That's
finally
right.
reached
Yep.
out to somebody
That's
you
right.
knew.
Yep.
And did he get you into AA programs?
Yeah. And he's like, hey.
He's like, you've got to really. Did he sponsor you?
He did. Yeah. All the way until
You
I
needed
moved
somebody
here.
that could hold you accountable.
Hold me accountable. See, I don't like authority. I don't like accountability.
Yeah, what addict does.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd built that lifestyle around where there was no accountability.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I think that's an interesting thing, the accountability side of things, is that sometimes I think that we think about accountability, in terms of like addiction and sponsors, but accountability in our own lives. Like, you don't have to be an addict to just have somebody that's going to be accountable to you and say, hey, you know what? I see you're headed in a direction here that I don't think's it could be harmful to your walk or your Christian faith or how you're practicing it. It could be harmful to your job. It could be harmful to your marriage, and that could be free of drugs and alcohol, of all those things, and still you could just have a blind spot in your life. Yeah. But you don't have to be an addict to not like accountability.
Right.
But it's like feedback is so stinking good. I had with the tennis when the tennis team lost, I remember telling somebody, and it might have been my brother, but we were talking, and I think I shared this with my daughter later. It's because they were devastated of losing. And of course, as a parent, you're like, look, I had so much pride in watching you, and you have no clue how joyous it was for those moments. And so thank you for giving me those moments, because it was great for me. Yeah. And but I understood why she didn't like losing, and I said, hey, if you don't hate losing, then you need to quit playing. Yeah. Because losing is where you get your feedback, and accountability is feedback. Accountability is being able to see, like, I'm doing something wrong when you can't see it. That's where losing and failure does that. Right. In life. So I think young people, if you're listening, accountability, we say it all the time, but that's so important. But you had to do it because it was your lifeblood.
It was life or death. It really was. So
your wife walks out. Mm-hmm. You call this Jeff guy. You start going into this rehab. But when does she see, like, how much time does she need to say, okay, because this is like the second or third time she's seen you try to get it together.
Right. Yeah. She saw when she saw that I got a sponsor, she knew like that was different, and that you need one.
You aren't doing it by yourself.
Yeah. And I was, she only left for a couple days and came back, and no one in our family knew. We didn't want people in our business, so luckily she was concerned about that, but she also only came back because I was making a change. And that's what, she is so amazing. She's so forgiving that if I see you working on yourself, I can work with that.
How long did you still go to AA meetings some?
Yeah, just went this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you go once a week, twice a week, whatever
I go,
I mean, I know it gets different for different people.
Correct.
Once you get to a certain time frame.
Well, yes and no. So,
Honestly, that's what I hear.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So that was my opinion of it. And I thought, well, I go for a while, and then you get a year, and then you don't have to go anymore. No. There's a older gentleman, I don't know, 80-something years old, that still goes to meetings every day, every single day.
Wow.
And I said, I'll leave his name out, sir.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, man, like, why do you still come? This was about 3 or 4 years ago I asked him this. And he said, Shawn, why would I stop working or stop doing what worked so well in the beginning? Why not?
Yeah, I had a good friend of mine that's, I don't know, he's over 10 years sober by the time we really started hanging out. And I remember him, he was a musician. I remember him in my college years he's really made it big. He's one of those musicians that got signed, record deal, Muscle
Wow.
Shoals, all that stuff, and then, kicked out of the band because you do too much drugs,
Yeah.
sort of that thing. But really, he's come back. He's a worship pastor now. But I know he goes to meetings all the time, and when he's traveling and recording and stuff, he's finds an AA meeting, he finds a Celebrate Recovery, he finds something, because he's just like, I got to work it. Like, I have no choice but to not do this.
Yeah, you really do. And some people, they might be able to go, once a week or something. But for me, I usually go about 4 to 6 days a week.
Really? Even now, how long have you been sober now?
7.5 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
So 7.5 years ago, I made that plunge, and at that time, money was gone. So that mortgage company collapsed, and we had a lawsuit with the government that they were trying to sue us for $1 million. We settled for $100,000 that had to be paid back in 12 months, and I had no job.
And you're just sober.
Fresh sober, trying to figure out my life and feelings.
Yeah.
Moved into an apartment.
First time in a long time that you're seeing the world without any,
luxuries
or numbing agents or whatever.
Numbing
like
agents.
You're feeling it all.
Yeah, and it's hard.
So how did you overcome that?
Well, the financial part. So my responsibility was half of that balance. So it was $50,000.
Yeah.
And so my brother-in-law, he was the opposite of me. He was my business partner. He saved all his money. So he's like, "Here's the check for $50,000,"
right.
and I had
I'm
nothing.
done.
Yeah. But this is when I went into what my dad was born into. I sold everything, anything I could get my hands on. I was flipping everything. I was selling CBD oil. I was selling hemp biomass, which I don't even know what that is, but I was selling it. Anything. I was trying to do commercial loans, and we applied for like 30 of those. None of them got approved. I was taking mortgage referrals and handing them to a guy. And
All in Missouri?
All in Missouri, and just all over the place on Facebook. And so that coaching company where I went for those 4 days, the immersion, they called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing, man? I thought you had this big mortgage company, and now you look crazy." Like, I think
so they still followed up with you.
Oh yeah, they were following me, and I think they thought, like, is he on drugs again? Because he looks crazy on Facebook, selling everything on Marketplace, and so I told him, I said, "Man, I got to tell you, lost everything." And he's like, "Well, we've always wanted to hire someone here, but we've always wanted them to come through our program. But all of our clients are like business owners, and they don't want to. Would you be interested in coming to work here?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Well, I don't know how soon you can start." I said, "In an hour." And they were like, "Well, hold on, we're not ready yet."
Okay.
But I thought, what a great way if I worked my 12-step program and I'd be around coaching and get paid to be around these types of people.
Positive influences in your life.
Whole new crowd for me.
Right.
And so they did. And so I worked from St. Louis. They were based out of California. And I worked over the phone, and they would fly me out to their California events they did about every 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And I was a part of that, and I was on 100% commission. So I was up all night having phone calls, trying to get people enrolled into their program, and got to tell my testimony of what it did for me. And it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And COVID happened. So that was from 18 or 19. 18 to 19 to.
Well, 2020 is COVID.
Yeah, so 18 to 20. So I'm doing that for a year and a half with them or something, and they said, hey, California locked down.
Yeah.
There's no hotels open. We can't do any events. Right. And our CEO happened to live right here in Destin, Florida.
Okay.
And he said, there's no COVID here.
Yeah, COVID didn't hit Florida.
Yeah, we're wide open. Yeah. All businesses are flourishing. So we all flew down here for the next event. And while we were here, he said, I want everyone to move here. Okay. And I said, I think this will be an easy sell to my wife.
Get out of Missouri.
Get out of St. Louis.
Plus, it's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice here.
Yeah. Those white sugar sand beaches, man, it's something else. Like crystal, emerald clear water. They don't call it the Emerald Coast for nothing, right?
It's beautiful here.
Yeah. So you guys packed up,
moved here. And worked with them for another 2.5 years or so, up until about 2021 and a half. And then it was just time, now I'm doing better financially.
You were doing AA meetings. You never stopped. So you moved
Correct.
here.
I moved here, got a new sponsor. Because after about 3 months, I'm like, I'm not calling the St. Louis sponsor. He can't see me. I'm starting to do this manipulative thoughts process again, but I could recognize it now because I had some sobriety.
Some sobriety in you, and you're working steps, and you took the step to say, I see
something in me that's not right. I need to be honest and call myself out.
How long did it take for you to do this? Was 3 years, roughly? I guess at this point, we're talking like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so moved here and met a guy here who's still my sponsor. Just a great guy.
That's awesome.
Reminds me of my dad. Looks like him. Has mannerisms like him.
That's great.
And so, anyways, but now I help other guys get sober. I'm working with about 4 or 5 guys right now.
So you're sponsoring people.
I sponsor people.
Which, by the
now.
way, that's part of the
deal, man. You gotta give the gift back.
Right.
Yeah.
There's healing in it for you.
For sure. And here's why. Because I will forget real quick of how I was. Mm. And then I meet this younger kid who was where I was 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
For sure.
And I'm like,
right.
Oh, yeah, I can relate. Right. And I need that reminder. Because an alcoholic and an addict, we have different minds where we will convince ourselves. We are constantly battling ourselves that we can't have that one drink. Mm. That's why I got to go every day. If I go 2 weeks without a meeting, I act different, and my wife notices it.
Very interesting. Scripture tells us it's better to give than receive, and it's not just about money. Christmas presents and money, right?
Yeah.
So, that's huge. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're here in Destin, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing the same coaching you were doing with that group anymore.
Correct.
You moved on. What'd you move to?
So. Part of my job for that company was when clients would come in, we'd have to find a 12 or 15 passenger van. Mm-hmm. And I had my spot in California. I'd go, fly in, I'd get the van and drive it to the event, and I'd have it. It was super easy. Well, during COVID, as you know, and I didn't realize we're on this little island, there's not that many cars available here, and everybody was coming here. So I panicked. I could not find a car or van anywhere, and we had clients coming in. Mm-hmm. And so I'm freaking out, and I called a buddy of mine, Alex David, in St. Louis, who's a big car guy, always at the auctions, and I said, hey, I need a favor. I think I need to buy a van, and then next week have you sell it for me. And he goes, what are you trying to do, man? I said, I need a van right now. And he said, did you look on Turo? What's Turo?
Okay.
You've heard of Turo?
I have.
So I go on Turo, and mind you, I've called Panama City, Pensacola, could not find a van anywhere. I find a guy 0.4 miles down the road, right around here, that has 10 vans available.
Wow.
And I'm like, is this a scam? What is this? Never heard about it. So I rent the van, I go pick it up, and I'm like, so I start asking the guy all these questions. This is what you do? 10 cars? He's like, yeah. So I go home, I tell my wife, I found our next gig. She's like, what? I said, we're going to buy 100 cars, and we're going to start a rental car company. She's like, slow down. Did you learn nothing from what we've been through? That's exactly what she said. How about you start with one? So I started with one, her car.
Wow.
I put her car on Turo, and it got rented in like a day and a half. Her payment was like $550 a month, and we made $524 on 1 week. And I said,
wow.
And I'm like,
how does that work? Because I know it's rental direct to
consumer.
The consumer is direct to whoever owns it. Do you have to have specialty insurance? Does Turo provide that?
Turo provides insurance. That's the question everyone asks is the insurance and what happens during a wreck. But yeah, so I went all in on that and just started buying cars, and got loans and had a partner, and then got rid of a partner, and we got up to 91 cars.
So you almost got 100 cars.
Almost did it. But
91
at
cars.
91, I was pulling my hair out.
Yeah.
I was doing what my dad did. I wasn't there for my daughter. Was never home. I'm working.
Sober, going to meetings, doing all
doing
stuff. But nonetheless, that doesn't necessarily
I gained
make you
like 30 pounds. I'm working in the heat all day, cleaning cars like a madman. I go home and they get what's left of me, and there's not much left. All to hit this number 100, which meant nothing. Mm-hmm. And so I finally said, this is not the way.
Okay.
And so now we've downsized it to about 20 cars. It's fully automated. I've got virtual assistants handling everything. Okay. A couple of young guys clean and deliver the cars.
It's on
mostly hands off. It's on cruise control. And our other business we started was from that coaching company. There was 2 owners. One of the owners had left.
Okay.
And he called me, the CEO that lives here.
Okay.
And he said, hey, man, what are you doing? I see you're doing the cars and all that. He's like, you and I always had fun working together. Why don't we start our own coaching company?
Okay.
I said, let's do it.
All right.
And so it's this company right here called Expansion.
Okay.
And so we said, well, we're going to do something very different than what all these other typical coaching companies are doing. And so we ran our first event, and it was almost identical to what we were doing before. And we were like, that is not what we meant to do.
Yeah.
And we just went back into character mode and
executed.
And so after that, we put it on the shelf for about a year, and we just worked together and just whiteboarded and brainstormed, tore it down, and then finally, Spencer Kimball, one of my best friends and my business partner, said, if we can just fix, all these coaching companies operate off 4 pillars, and we all kind of do the same thing, and we're all saying this pretty much the same thing. I just don't want that. What's missing is helping the client be able to make money. Like the financial piece, because coaching companies are not cheap, right? You hire a coach, it can be really expensive. Mm-hmm. If there was a no-brainer, if they signed up and we showed them these tools to make X amount of dollars somehow, boy, I would feel good about that product. And I said, me too. Still on the shelf, we're still brainstorming, and then he hires a coach for himself to teach him how to trade stocks.
Okay.
And he said, I've always been fascinated by this, and I'm going to hire this guy. He's an expert. And he said, I'm not going to tell you how much he costs. Well, I'm in the coaching world. I know stuff's expensive. So if you're not telling me it's expensive, I said, Spencer, what is it, 50 grand or something?
More.
I said, Spencer, are you nuts?
Yeah.
I said, 100 grand? And he said,
more.
I said, okay, I know you have money. I'm protecting my friend now.
Yeah.
We don't know this guy. And for a week, he's like, I'm going to do it. He's like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And here's how, I said, you're a smart guy, justify it to me. Okay, so I have always wanted to do this, and I have made a lot of money, but I've also lost a lot of money because I don't know what I'm doing. But if I had a guy show me exactly what to do, and I did this for the next 30 years, the $200,000 he's charging pays for itself.
You know what's weird about the stock stuff, and this is something that it's hard to understand, that there are people that want to kind of watch, and because there's stocks you can watch that are like all the Republican plays, all the Democrat plays.
Yeah.
And you watch Elon Musk and whatever he does.
Yeah.
You watch some of these big guys and kind of follow along, and you think about inside trading, and I mean everybody wants to hit the 10x and whatever it is, but I think Warren Buffett said that you can put somebody on track doing these kind of sporadic sort of trades, or you just invest in any of the index and you'll do better over 20 years.
Correct. Yeah. So you can do that too.
And something, by the way, young people.
Yeah, please be careful with the stock market.
Listen up. The best thing on your side right now is time.
Yes, for sure.
So just if you want to put it away, think about those indexes or whatever. I'm not giving out necessarily advice. Don't come yelling at me, but listen to some of those guys like Warren Buffett. You don't have to go crazy. You just save some money, put it in a nice little index, and watch it grow. Yeah. Because you have time.
And that's everything.
Yeah.
So he hires this guy named Jeremy Newsom, and I said, well, at least work a payment plan.
Yeah.
So he's not a fraud and steals your money. I'm just so thinking this
trying to protect your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, we'll do that. So they do that. And next thing you know, man, Spencer is just rocking and rolling, doing very well in the stock market.
So the guy was doing. So the guy doesn't understand what some plays to do. Okay, good.
And I'm talking like 60 days.
Wow.
It's very noticeable.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, okay. And so, so he's happy. They're working together, and then finally, Spencer and I we always walk. We're on our walk and talk, and he said, "Why don't we just bring Jeremy in?"
Okay.
There's the component. There's the financial piece. That if we can teach people the basics of how to make money with what they already have, their 401k that's sitting there making 7 or 10% a year, what if they can make 3 to 8% a month safely?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did, and we did that about a year ago, and it's been great.
So where do you hold these? I mean, when you talk about coaching, and I understand you're trying to put a component that helps people, but what is the central thing? Because I agree with you. There's a lot of coaches out there, and I follow somebody on Instagram. I can't remember who it is, but maybe I posted in post edit, but. These guys like make fun of some of these coaches that are out there. You know, it's called ball busters.
I follow them. Love them.
Yeah. Because you get some of these guys out there and they just kind of yell in your face.
We actually made a spoof video.
Did you? Yeah, because it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Some of these like things that are out there.
Yeah.
They do, and they're expensive. Yeah. But I mean, you know, you get the packet, and I feel like it's so little of what you need.
That's right.
You know, and sometimes just hard work, but I know people need directions for sure. If you've never been trained or you didn't have a mentor or somebody to go with you.
Yeah.
What's the difference, though? How do you avoid being on their Instagram page, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't do the alpha male coaching, screaming. We don't do the boot camp part, you know, sandbags and all that.
Yeah.
It's just not, you know, so what we've done is by adding this financial component, so our pillars are faith, family, fitness, and financial freedom. Okay. And so financial freedom being the foundation, but not the biggest part, right? Most business owners, in our opinion, or a lot of business owners, in our opinion, like my dad, get real successful, but they miss the kids growing up. Or the wife's ready to leave, right? Because a lot of men think I have to be the provider, and they put so much
sacrifice
emphasis
their
on
family over...
Yeah, or they're just unhappy or out of shape. So we try to teach that balance, and then that the main thing is like you don't. All these entrepreneurs typically want to find a way to make additional revenue. So what if you didn't have to go buy a franchise or learn how to flip houses and compete with everyone else? What if you just had to do this and click a button, and you can make a really good income? So. That's what separates us.
Okay. And what is I mean, is it like a week long? Is it do you work directly with somebody for months? Or how does that work?
So we do a 2-day event, and it's $499. It's $500 for the 2-day event, and we want to give you enough value for the 2-day event that you get your money's worth. And we show you how to do the basics. You know, learn one strategy of trading, and then what. We do offer an upsell, right? You can work with us for 6 months or 12 months, and those prices they're steep. It's $35,000 or $60,000. Oh, wow. However, we've had, the people that are doing it. And it's just like anything. We almost talk them out of it. We're like, this is for the people who are truly going to do the work and do the homework and train and do this. If this is just something exciting, do not sign up. We don't want your money, because that's how some of these other coaching programs that we've been to as clients and guests are. It's a hard sell, and no one leaves this room until we get 10 sold or something. I've seen some crazy stuff. It's like, get me out of here. And it's just not us. Like me and Spencer are just, we're not about that. And so, but there are people that, like, people are just like, here's the wire, boom. And they're crushing it, man. Like, this is not typical. And I have to say, this is rare. But last week, our top guy made $116,000 or $112,000 last week.
Just last week?
Last week. And then another guy made $50,000.
Certain strategies that
the things that we're teaching, But again, it's not everyone, and they're playing with probably $500,000, you know. But still, that's really good returns on $500,000.
Do you worry about like things like chat? Because I mean, you know, that now somebody that has a little bit of cash could say, "How could I turn this into something?"
Sure.
And chat could give you some processes, and you could start executing on those strategies. Do you worry about that sort of stuff in the coaching business?
No, at least for our financial freedom pillar, we're working on something, and I don't want to give any details because it's Spencer's baby.
Sure.
But he's creating something with the new technology out there that's going to
hopefully able to compete and shift. Okay, because I do think you have to be aware of that, because there are,
for sure.
I mean, at some point there is those things. I mean, I think about all the time. I'm asking questions to my
it's scary
my AI, you know, and saying, hey, how do I do this, or how do I do that? With the pods and setting it up, my wife and I use it consistently. Like, I have this camera and this is not working right. What do I need to go to? And it's just I don't even need an instruction manual anymore. You know, so it's fascinating things that people are able to solve if they put it to it. But at the end of the day, you still have to execute. AI is not going to do it for you. You still got to execute. So my brother-in-law just built an app that he was toying with that I thought was fascinating. He did it through AI. I had no idea how to build an app, and I asked him, "How did you even learn?" I chat and I start and I get this and I do this step, and you know, just make that adjustment. So it's unbelievable. What you can do with all that stuff. I want to touch on this, and we'll kind of finish in this segment. But faith, when did faith come into play with you?
That's a good topic for me, because late. So I grew up, you would think with Mamaw raising my dad.
Yeah, but you know, it's still got to hit you. Somewhere's got to land.
But we didn't go to church as a family. You know, and I had a few bad experiences with church. Like, again, Dad starts dating girlfriend, and now all of a sudden we go to church on the weekends because he has the girlfriend that wants to go to church. So I didn't like it because it was the new girlfriend, which I didn't like her in the beginning. Right, it was a weird change for a 12-year-old or however old I was. So there was that, and then the other was I had some family members. I stayed the night at their house, and I'm only 10 years old probably, and they were Christian. And they wanted to save me. I had no idea what we were doing. And it was like midnight, and they kept trying to talk. And I'm thinking, I don't know anything about religion of any kind or faith of any kind. And I'm like, I'm so tired, so I'm going to go to bed, guys. And they were like, we just want to save you. And I'm like, okay, sure. And I say yes.
Yeah, say the sinner's prayer sort of thing.
Yeah, not knowing what I signed up for. And they jump out of bed and do this prayer for me with their eyes closed. And my eyes are open, and I'm really freaked out as a child. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. So we all go to sleep. I'm like, okay. My mom's picking me up the next day. We go down for breakfast, and they're like, Mom, we saved Shawn. She starts crying, gets on her knees and praying on me. And again, I've never seen this before. Wow. Really freaked me out. So from 10 on, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. And it just wasn't in our household. We didn't talk about it. We weren't anti or anything. We just no discussions. And so everything was fine, I think, at the time, right? Just wasn't part of my conversation or anything. And then as I got older, I started realizing, like, I need something. You know, maybe this is why I'm an addict. At this point, I didn't know about, you know, addressing my issues that it got exposed to that coaching program. I wasn't ready to talk about anything like that. I'm like, let me go to church to see why I'm an addict, because I was really struggling with that. And I went with my friend Kim. She took me to a church, and the offering basket came, and I put $100 in there. She's like, no, you're a guest. You don't have to put anything in there. And I was like, oh, do I owe more because I've been bad? And she's like, that's not how this works. But I thought, like, you pay your way, and again, just very distorted, uneducated about it. And so, you know, as the addiction grew and everything got worse, you know, I didn't address it anymore until I went to AA, and I reached out to that guy, Jeff, and I said, I need help. And he's like, okay, are you willing to do whatever I tell you to do? I said, man, I'm willing to do anything. He said, great, then we can get started. He said, here's what I need you to do. Are you ready? I'm like, yeah. So I grabbed a pen and paper. He's like, you ready? I'm like, yeah. Okay, I need you to pray on your knees next to your bed before you go to sleep.
It's like the number one thing I hear from
Yeah.
AA people. It's the number one thing I
Yeah.
hear from AA people.
And when you wake up in the morning, pray on your knees and call me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, I got that. What else? He's like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that? What do you mean that's it? Like, I'm thinking there's this list of things we need. It's all I want you to worry about.
So good.
I'm like, okay. So, of course, I go to bed. I pray at night. Don't really know how to pray, right? And go to bed. I wake up, and the first thing I do is call him. And he said, hey, did you pray this morning on your knees? I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Click. He hangs up on me.
Yeah.
Just like that. I'm like, okay, I guess he's serious about this prayer thing. Again, I'm just uneducated. So I get on my knees, and I really don't know what I'm talking to or who, no understanding. And I call him back, and he's like, all right, well, did you pray? I said, yep. What's next? He's like, well, what'd you pray about? I'm like, I don't know. I prayed, man. What'd you pray about? I said, man, I don't know. He said, Shawn, do you know how to pray? I said, I don't. I've never really done it. I prayed like, God save me from this police car or situation.
Right. I need a better grade.
Yeah. And
don't let me get caught.
Yeah. And so he taught me the very basics of just the general idea of something bigger than myself, that created a universe. Can you at least believe that? And I said, sure.
Yeah.
So we started there. And it was very uncomfortable, but at the time I had, the big payment plan with the government. I had a couple of lawsuits, going through the foreclosure process, the bankruptcy, all the creditors that were calling, a lot of financial weight going on, and it was overwhelming. And so he taught me to pray for assistance with those things. He said, Shawn, you can't fix any of those things. You've tried, and look where it's gotten you, okay? Why don't you let go? Your way ain't working. Turn it over to God. Ask for assistance with those things. And so I said, okay, as crazy as it sounds, it didn't make sense to me. I didn't really believe it. But I said I'd do whatever you said, and this time I'm going to do it. I told my wife it's different this time. And that look on her face where she didn't have faith, I'm going to prove her wrong. It's going to work this time. And so I did. Start praying to God. I need help with this, and please make me feel better and healthy, and let me be a better husband and father, and things I just never asked the air about, right? And so 30 days sobriety I hit, man. I get my 30-day coin. I'm really proud of it. I think my sponsor is going to be there with balloons and a cake. No, it's just 30 days, man. Good job. Tomorrow's 31. Keep going.
Next.
Yeah.
Had you ever hit 30 days before?
No, not like that. No.
So...
Hold on, I want to say one more thing on
please,
that.
Please.
So I get to 60 days, and then about 90 days, he's like, okay, great, you're really sticking to this. I said, yeah, like this is what I want, and I feel good. He's like, let's talk about that. How's everything going? I'm like, man, you wouldn't believe it. They dropped those 2 lawsuits.
No
They
way.
dropped them.
Wow.
He's like, well, how'd that happen? I said, man, I have no idea. He said, okay, what about this? I start going down the line. What about this? Oh, man, you wouldn't believe it. This happened. Dude, I am so good. He's like, really? He said, now, what have you been praying for the last 90 days? I said, wow, everything I just told you. He said, okay, perfect. So do you believe just maybe a smidge, just tiny ounce of a smidge, that just maybe those prayers to the universe or whoever you were praying to just might have helped you with that situation a little bit better than what you could have done on your own? I said, yeah. He said, great. Just keep believing.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
That's amazing.
That was 7.5 years ago.
Did you ever identify who you believe the higher power to be? I know in AA it's the higher power because you want to bring in everybody.
It's God. And I leave it at that for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning, and I still have some walls up on learning.
Sure. Sure.
And I'm okay with that.
Sure.
And I've accepted that. And it will improve and get deeper.
You're gonna discover,
I'm okay.
You're going to discover there was a famous passage in Scripture where Paul, who, if you know anything about Scripture, Paul was he would consider himself a disciple of Jesus, but he never met Jesus while he was here on earth. So he talks about Damascus Road. His name's Saul. He's his character in the Bible. His name's Saul. And he would persecute Christians. And in other words, when the Roman government saw this uprising of this Jewish uprising, and it was this Christian faith of after they believed they saw a resurrected Savior. And so they were like, we need to snuff this out. And so Paul would go and put him in prison or stone him to death. And on the way to Damascus Road, he was blinded. And he as writes that he was taken to see Jesus and then placed back on earth. But eventually his eyes, they're blind, and the scales were removed from his eyes so he could see. And he changed his name from Saul to Paul, gave it all up, and then went to his death, telling everyone he could who Jesus was. But there's this famous road that he went into Rome, and he got there, and he's around all these people, and they had all these idols surrounding him. And he said, hey, this one over here, you have an idol to the unknown God. He goes, that's mine. Wow. And he goes, it's pierced on your heart. You just didn't know it. It's been written on your heart. You didn't even know it. And that's my God. And so I think sometimes it is an unknown God.
Yeah.
You just start with that.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing just starting with prayer. Yeah. And it's an amazing thing to try it and see what happens. I always challenge people that aren't sure of faith is just try to pray for 30 days and see what happens.
Wow, yeah.
Practicing faith isn't always about reading a Bible or diving into a Bible study or going to church. Practicing faith is trying to be, for me, is to try to be more Christ-like. For me, they talk about the fruits of the Spirit being love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control. If those are coming out of me, I'm practicing my faith.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So that it's not all this other, I don't have to kneel 5 times or stand up, and people that do that, hey. If that brings you closer, I think that's great.
Yeah.
But I love how you put it. That's where I'm at. I love that.
Well, it took me a while to know it's okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, as of recently.
Well, that's an interesting thing because you living in the South, brother. So you got a lot of folks that you need to claim Jesus, right, or whatever it is. But I love that you got okay with get okay with there.
Yeah.
Because I just love that for you.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so eloquent.
Well, I always felt like I'm less than because I'm not good enough because I don't have that peace yet. And then finally I'm like, we're good. Like, you're good. Quit thinking there's always something wrong with you.
Well, there's a God that loves you so deeply just the way you are.
Yeah.
He loved you when you were an addict. He loves you as you're in your sobriety and still an addict.
Yeah.
He loves you when you were born. He knew the name, he knew the hairs on your head. Yeah. I mean, this God is so big and so great, and his love for you is so great.
Yeah.
And we have it all mixed up in this because it's hard for us to understand. Our thoughts aren't his thoughts. Our ways aren't his ways. So why do we think we have this thing, a need for justice? We have a need for accountability. Those are things we need in our life, but that's not how God sees us.
Yeah. God
loves you. And that's, to me, is a beautiful thing. All the things you're talking about, the accountability, the sobriety, the work, the execution, all those are things we need to do, and they can help to have a more full life. And God wants you to have a full life, and he wants you to get all those things for sure. But that didn't change the love about you that he has for you. And I love that you're just seeing it that way.
Yeah.
Because that's you're further along than most Christians I know.
Wow. Well, my wife had a lot to do with that. And I should, before we end, I should say that, we've told this whole story about my addiction and all these things about me, but the angel that I thought she was before I met her, she is. And she has saved our marriage. She has saved our co-parenting household as one unit. She's amazing.
Well, you've saved a generation. Between the pair of you.
Yeah.
You saved a generation.
Yeah.
There's kind of this thing, I believe it to be true, is this generational sin that goes on, and there's certain things just passed down. and we say the word sin and it makes it sound really religious, but essentially there's we'll call it bad habits. Some of them screamingly, harshly, enormously bad habits that can be passed down to the next generation.
Yeah.
If you don't ever resolve them, you're going to give them.
Yeah.
And so, there's work to be done for every generation so that the next generation can be better. But if you don't do the work, like you said, your dad had this hole for success, and then you had this hole for success and a hole for a dad.
Right.
He had a hole for a dad.
Right. And I was heading down that same path.
100%. And at some point through your wife, and your daughter, you very well changed the trajectory of her life.
Yeah.
And she changed the trajectory of her life, which to me is a beautiful story. And that's our Father's love right there. That's like God's love for us right there. That's just amazing. So I've got one last question. By the way, I love this story. I love this testimony. I hope people that have heard it, I hope it's landing for you. It's a lot. I appreciate every one of you that listen to this. And if you're here towards the end, really thank you, because these testimonies are just so important in our lives. But one last question I've asked virtually everybody this season. If you had, you could say a number of things, but if you had one thing that you would go back and tell your 25-year-old self, a habit, something, a discipline, something you added to your life, if you could go back, knowing what you know now, tell your 25-year-old self, what would it be?
Don't worry about pleasing others. Invest in yourself and love on yourself. And also, if you don't have a relationship with God, find it. That was more than one thing, but all that hits.
I love it. That all hits and slaps. It's great. Well, Shawn Vinson. I really, really, really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man.